What's up, guys? William Mosley here, and today we are talking about not being good enough, not feeling like you have value, you have purpose, feeling down, feeling under the pressure of someone else. I'm going to take you a little further back to the story of when I graduated high school and the year or so, not year or so, probably the next 2 or 3 years after that. Tuck in. Okay. If you follow the podcast, follow any of these films, you'll know that I love art, and when I graduated from high school, why it was so important to me, why it was pretty much one of the biggest accomplishments at the time for me, was because my family, like my immediate family, had never graduated from high school, and I wanted to be that marker. I wanted to be that. I wanted to prove that, like, the Mosley family can do this. We got this. I don't know, just a whole bunch of like wanting to prove stuff. I don't know how much I feel about that today at all, but that was my mindset as I was pushing towards graduating high school. I almost didn't even graduate. Truth be told, I got an F on French because I just couldn't grab it, and I just couldn't pay attention. It was senior year, last semester. My mindset wasn't into learning another language, and I figured that, I didn't think it was like a requirement. I think it was something I had to do. But luckily, my French teacher, Miss Farrell, all my TC peeps, you guys remember Miss Farrell, she passed me with a D, so I was able to walk across the stage and graduate. 1 second. It was one of the most proud, one of the most happiest points of my life at that time. And although it was one of the most happiest points in my life, at that moment I was also living with Vic and Rose, like some of the most amazing people in the world, and I felt super small. I felt like I didn't have a place in the world yet, even though I'm getting this degree. Like, what does this really even matter? I've been working for 12 years or however long it is from K to 12. Yeah, it's a big moment, but at the same time I felt so small to my peers around me who were going off to all these big colleges. They all had scholarships. They all, it was just like it was the buzz. And for me, I had no game plan after college. I knew that I wanted to do art, but I hadn't figured out where that would fit into my life, or my, I don't want to call it destiny or whatever, but where that would fit in. So dealing with family drama, and I remember I was like, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to do what a lot of people do. I'm going to take a year off, before I start college, and try to find myself, just try to make some money. So I think at the time I was working at the movie theater or Zaxby's, one of those. I think it was Zaxby's. I was working at Zaxby's. And I was working, the summer came, and the first couple weeks after I graduated, I was like, hell yeah, this is cool. Thinking that something might be different. Oh, I got a diploma now. I've got this piece of paper, so maybe somehow in the business world, like it'll mean something more than like me working at Zaxby's or doing whatever. And I just remember thinking after a month, like, I'm still at the same place. I don't really enjoy this. I don't really want to be here long term. I want to figure out, how to get my degree or, in the arts, or figure out something with that. What was it? I really can't remember. No, okay. So I was like, well, I don't really want to work in fast food, but there's a movie theater right next to, like, right up the hill. So I was like, okay, well, I'll go apply at this movie theater. I have this new diploma now. I have, I remember writing out a resume for, like, this movie theater to go get, like, accepted. And I put it in my app. I tried to ask for the manager. I tried to do all the things that you're supposed to do to get a job. And, like, I didn't get a response back for a long while. And I finally got a call from this guy, Andrew, who was like, oh, okay, we can put you on, we can hire you. And I remember thinking, hell yeah. So I ended up quitting Zaxby's and going to the movie theater and working at the movie theater. I made a vlog back in season 1 about the best job to work, that's for entry-level people, or like when you're just like starting out as a kid. Movie theater definitely is that. Movie theater and Starbucks, those are the two that I would recommend for kickers. One, movie theater, like, just like if you're cheap, like, you get free movies, you get free popcorn, you don't have to do much, they don't expect that much of you, and they'll actually work you a lot during the summertime. Like, so I was working like 40, 45 hours when I was at the movie theater, just like bossing, and it was fun. So I really enjoyed the movie theater, but I still felt like I didn't have like a purpose. I felt like I didn't have like I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. Like, it's a thing that's really common for high schoolers. And I also was just dealing with the drama of, like, family. Like, I was trying to navigate that as well. And I also felt like I was, like, being a pain or impeding on, like, the family that I was staying with at the time, because I hadn't figured my shit out. I hadn't figured out what I wanted to do. So I said, screw it. You know what? I'm going to make a change for myself. I'm going to be a better me. I'm going to do all this awesome stuff. So I decided to reach out to the scholarship person that I remember coming to my English class back at TC. And she was like, yeah, we can get you into this college, High Tech Institute. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. Why didn't I do this before? This is so great. I can be able to get into college. It was in Atlanta, so that to me was like a new thing too. Like, okay, like let's go to Atlanta. I felt like new journeys, new beginnings. My friend Brittany at the time, she was going to SCAD, like a super fancy, like Savannah College of Art and Design. Like that was the school that I really wanted to go to. I was like, oh man, that's so amazing. So I was like, okay, I'll be like right next door. I found out she was going to like the Atlanta campus. And then I try to get like my good childhood friend Josh on. Like, he was also kind of feeling the same way. He was like, yeah, so we'd go to this high-tech institute school, get our education. We got this, man. We can do it. Like, it was an exciting time for me, where I finally felt like I had like some type of arrow to point myself in, and I wasn't just working fast food or working at the movie theater. So diverging or kind of moving from high school, or moving from college for a second, the movie theater is where I met my first, like I got my first, I won't say my first girlfriend, but like my first like girlfriend more than like a month, if you want to say that. And So I like in my life in that moment, I was like, okay, this is cool. Things were going good. I'm working hard. I know in August I'm gonna go to college, and I hadn't figured out how that would work out, like with her being here and me going to Atlanta. And that didn't work well, or at least in that moment. But so fast forward to Atlanta, or not, the school was based in, I think, Marietta, I don't know. Fast forward, and I'm getting ready. I had saved up for a car too. I was feeling super good about all this. And I remember taking like my first class there and feeling so underwhelmed. I felt like, and remember, Will at this time had a very high opinion of himself, I should be doing this and I should be doing that. But I also had very low self-esteem, and felt like I didn't have a purpose in life. Felt like other people around me were so much better than me. And I was also in a completely new world, like in Atlanta / Marietta, whatever. And I just remember thinking to myself around me, the students, I was like, this class right here is super basic. Or I just felt like I didn't fit in. I felt like it was just like I was going to a college that wasn't astute, which I don't know. Thinking reflecting back at that, just seems so stupid. But that's how I felt at the time. I ended up having roommates with Chris Edwell, what's that dude, and two other guys. And Chris turned me back on to anime. I dropped out of that, but I was doing nothing but watching all sorts of good stuff, stuff that I'd never seen, but was really good. So thanks for that. And that's when I first got he was the very first person I saw use Photoshop, right? This guy, I go over to his computer. I don't even know what type of computer he had at the time. This is, to put in perspective, this is 2007. 12 years ago. I go over to his computer and he's using, CS2. Do you guys remember that? CS2. This is where you could download it illegally or whatever, and try to figure out serial keys. This is way before CC, the Creative Suite, where he was using Adobe Creative Suite 2, what it stood for. He was using Photoshop. I'm man, I don't know how you're doing all this cool stuff, but that's cool. I was like, what do you want to do? He's like, well, I want to be a video game designer. And that was the very first time I'd been really introduced to any type of software. And so I looked up Adobe Photoshop, and I found out that there was Creative Suite 3. Got my hands on it somehow. And started trying to use it, and for a month or two I thought I was a mad genius. I was like, whoa, what is this thing? This is so crazy. Over here, he was doing things with anime characters and changing the backgrounds, and then he showed me how to use the pen tool, which then blew my mind as well. Wow, you can crop out stuff. Man, whew, those were the days. I'd also bought myself a Sony CyberShot camera, and God, I still felt so far out of place. These were little tiny highs, little tiny moments, but I felt so small at the school. I felt so small in the path that I didn't really know. I really had no clue what I would do. And I felt so poor too. I felt like a poor boy in a had no money. This was when it started to get really weird for me. Like I ended up taking some basic classes, which they taught us. There was a class that stuck with me. I'm trying to think of the proper word. Critical thinking. That's what it was. And I thought, oh, what a lame class, or what a lame class name. But I took critical thinking, and it really did shift a lot of stuff for me, where pretty much was recognizing that a lot of stuff, things that you see in the media, a lot of things that you do are just based on assumptions, and looking for the real facts, and that there wasn't really any facts at all. There was your story and their story, and there's also the truth, but a lot of it is subjective, and you have to be able to kind of connect pieces. That was cool. That was a cool class. This is where it started getting weird. So I had no job to make any money at school. I didn't have FAFSA. I took out student loans for the semester. I remember seeing the bill for the half of the semester, and I was like, I don't even know, it was like $6,000, $7,000. I don't know, it was high. I just remember seeing like a crazy bill, and that shook me. And then I had this really amazing social worker that had stayed in contact with me since, graduating. She'd been there for a little bit of that. She helped me, she matched me with the car, which is amazing. Her name is Rosemary Treadway. I'll never forget her, because she always was that little bit of, I don't know, I don't want to say hope, just like she was always seemed to be there when it was really tough, or I was feeling really down. So I reached out to Rosemary. It had been a while since and I told her, I have no food here. And that was literally. Usually you have parents that send you money, or give you money, or you get on like a school lunch or a school thing that, is paid for. But I didn't have any of that. I just had the stuff that I came with. And I remember taking out a credit card right over on the summer. It was a Best Buy credit card. They're like, do you want this thing? It's like, oh wow, $300. Perfect. And I didn't even splurge that thing on like anything crazy. I was like, I'm gonna do so good I'm gonna build my credit. I'm just gonna be the best of the best, and whatever. Like I said, I had a high opinion of myself. And it got to the point where I had to go to the store and start using this $300 credit card to try to buy like really small things. We talk about like ramen and shit, you know what I mean? Like ramen, and just a couple of things. That lasted a little while, but I remember getting to like October or November, and I had to reach out to Rosemary, because I had literally maxed out this $300 card. There's nothing left on it. And she was like, all I can do is send you like $100 gift card for, that's all I can do. And I remember waiting for this thing, like starving, like waiting for it to come in the mail. And I got the card, and I literally stretched $100 like for a month and a half, like for food. I don't know if you guys have perspective of that, but like the biggest moment, my biggest like reward to myself was like when I like ended up finding like a $5 or $10 or something like that. I don't even know what it was. And I ended up buying it was next door. Like I bought like a Hardee's sandwich or something. I remember eating half and like saving the rest for later. And that would be like my was here like really scraping. And all the while, I was, boyfriend, girlfriend with Stacy, who was still back in Asheville. And like we were doing the whole long distance thing, which, as you can imagine, is crazy. And then I saw the bill, the bill for the end of the semester, and it was like another like $4,000, $7,000. I don't remember the exact number. And I remember thinking to myself, like, this is crazy. What the hell am I even doing here? The only thing that I got out of that one spot, that one place, was I took a graphic design class, and I've talked about this a bit in, Creators with Kids, episode 1. I really talk about the whole strife and the hardship, and I glaze over it, but took that class, and it was like the very first like class that wasn't core, and they got us like a portfolio thingy, which I still have to this day. And they're like, wow, you're going to use all this, we're going to learn all these new skills, everything's becoming digital, everything's becoming online. I was really excited about this class. The guy turned out to be an asshole, but the book that we got, I remember just really falling in love with the book, just looking into it and like skipping ahead. Like whatever they were going to learn, I was like looking at it like, wow, this is really crazy stuff. And so that's why I decided like graphic design would be my major. I feel like I wouldn't mind. I can't remember what I was minoring in. I had like a major and a minor, I just can't remember. And I did this. I made like this really lame logo called JPEG, and it was like JPEG, and the E was a red, blue, and green to represent the digital age. It was, and there was like an eye, like a light bulb, for just so cliche, so basic, and so just like gross. But I thought at the time, like it was very new to any of these tools. I'm pretty positive I wasn't using Illustrator at that time. I think it was just Photoshop. Just learning, and that was what kind of kept me going to school. I don't even remember what happened to. No, I scratched that. I did not have a car through this process. I got a car later on. We'll talk about that. I don't think I will read this episode, but I got a car later on. I didn't have a car. So I also felt shitty about that. I don't even think I had my license at the time. I didn't think about it. I didn't have my license. Didn't have a car. And Rosemary ended up sending me like another like gift card, and I was like, I gotta be able to get around. I need to get around. So I ended up buying like a Walmart bike for like $100. I remember like walking to this crazy place in Atlanta. I had no idea of how to get around, like no clue where everything was, like learning the subways and everything like that. Buying this bike, being so excited about it, it was red and orange, and literally 1 week later it got stolen because I didn't have a chain for it. I didn't have the money to buy a chain. Like that was the problem. It wasn't that I didn't get a chain because I didn't think I needed one. It's just like I didn't have any money to get a chain to chain this bike up. That was my transportation. And like I'd go and visit my friend Brittany every like week or whatever, and I'd take the subway because like you get like unlimited pass for like $10 or something for the subway. So I'd just go all the way down where she stayed. We'd like binge watch House. And I remember walking in and just feeling really, really shitty because like in comparison to what my college was and where my residents were and what I had was laughable in comparison to what she had. It was my first taste of like a MacBook too, just like looking at a MacBook and understanding, like seeing it, oh wow, this is so cool. She's like, yeah, my parents bought it for me. We're graduation. I'm like, that's dope. This is while we're looking at a plane landing. This is when Guitar Hero was super big. Guitar Hero 2, Guitar Hero 3. But yeah, it was definitely lonely. It was definitely hard. It just sucked a lot. It was a horrible experience. So it got to the end of the semester and I had a hard decision to make. I told myself, like, man, I wanted this so bad. I wanted to escape, like, working, this minimum wage stuff so I can do something with my life. But, like, 4 years of this, 4 years of going deeper in debt, 4 years of, like, this. It's like, I can't do this. So, that December, I was like, and I missed my girlfriend. At that time, like, I found out, like, she was talking to somebody else or whatever. And it was just bad. This is bad. I had found that out after I moved back, actually. So I finally did make this decision to move back with her. We're gonna apply for this at this place, this one bedroom. I'd never applied for an apartment in my life. I didn't even know what to think, what to expect. It was a $600 place. And, I don't know, I remember just, like, figuring out a way to, like, get back. I can't remember if it was, I can't remember who gave me, like, or came and got me. I'm trying to think of that. I think I actually might have taken the bus back. Did I? Yeah, I think I did. I think I took a... it was always nagging at me. You need to go back. Like, a year went by, and it's like, hey, Will, I'm not a freshman anymore. I'm a sophomore. And I'm like, shit, I haven't even started college. Another year goes by. Yeah, I'm a sophomore now. I'm like, fuck, I'm still doing the same shit. What do I do? Finally got to the point where I was like, well, I'm going to go to AB Tech. I'm going to accept that I'm not meant for a university, a big astute college. And I'll just do the community thing. I'll do the community college, even though it doesn't look that good on a resume. But I'll do the community thing, and then I'll get into a big astute college after that. That's what I'll do. That's what... So I applied for AB Tech, ended up getting FAFSA, which is like a pretty much government aid, financial assistance, and did the whole community college, full-time work, full-time load, and it still was really overwhelming. It was still a lot of stress. But it was like, oh, the end goal. All I did was take core classes. And I remember just doing my own passion at home, just like trying to like learn as much as I could at graphic design all during this time. So I've always like been pushing 3 jobs if you really think about it. And it just was a non-stop, like, everything society told me was like, you're not good enough. Like, everything. My grades were bad. Like, the only thing I was really good at that was like quote unquote valuable was I've always had a good work ethic and always kept a good attitude at work. I was pretty good at that. So like when they put me in like cashier and stuff like that, I'd always get like the compliments from me, like the most, charismatic or cordial and nicest and to care. It's like, it's just customer service. It's natural. Oh man. So I've been doing this game of like, I'm not going to tell my whole sob story, but I've been doing this whole game of feeling like not enough or not valued or low or poor or a piece of shit. I've been playing this game since I don't want to say since I graduated. It's been a long time since before that, but on my own, like when I'm not on someone else's dime or on whatever, I've been playing that. And I want you to know, if you're going through any of this, if you're struggling with finding yourself, struggling with making ends meet, struggling with life in general, you don't have to follow the path they say. Whoever they is, whether it's the voices in your head that say you have to be this, or you're not good enough, or it's your parents telling you that you have to do this, or you're a deadbeat, like, you don't have to listen to those voices. And the second that you realize that you are perfect the way you are, that you're valuable, no matter whether you go to some stupid astute college or you work minimum wage, it doesn't matter. That doesn't define who you are as a person. Everyone always knew I was I always connected with people on a deeper level. People always saw that, but I didn't really see it in myself. I didn't see how that would relate to being able to make ends meet, or being able to make $1 million, or being able to do any of the things that I desired. I saw all the kids getting the new gear, all the kids, hanging out with their families. And, I didn't have, like, a mom to go to, like my mom to, like, go to when things were, like, tough. Like, I had my foster family to go to, but it was more like the mentality of, like, shit's tough and, you just gotta go through it. But no one really told me that I didn't have to go to college, that I didn't have to follow this corporate path. One second. Great. I'm blocked. And I want you to know that you don't have to do that. If you don't want to, like, no one can tell you, unless you're living in their house, like, what to do. And if you're living under someone's roof, like, if you're working for somebody, like, that's their rules. You gotta do that. But as far as your happiness goes, as far as who you are, if I had figured that out early on, like, really realized who I was, and how important, how valuable I already was. I don't want to say I wouldn't have made all the mistakes that I've made, but I definitely would be different somehow. Like, that's the only thing I can wish for you, is that if you don't feel like you're important, or if you have someone that, whether it's a sibling or a friend or whatever, that is doing much better than you, know that things even out over time. Things go through waves of ups and downs, and I take it with pride that I made the hard decision of finally deciding to drop out of college, even though at the time I felt like a piece of shit, like I didn't, that I was making a horrible decision, absolutely horrible decision, which it wasn't. done that nonstop, no matter how far or how bad things got. I was so obsessed. I was obsessed with design. I was obsessed with like life coaching. I was obsessed with all that. Did I ever become a life coach? No, but I still carry like values and things and opinions and all that stuff. Cool. This seems like a really long drive. This is the drive that I do every single day home. If you're still here, thank you. That's dope. But this is going to be a one-off too, because I just don't have time to like block this into like chop these into pieces for this one. There's like a cutoff time, and I'm making a cutoff time. Like for anything that's past a certain time, past lunch, like if I've take my break and I chop up stuff, like anything past that is just like one-offs. So thank you guys for sticking with me through this little deep dive back into my personal college experience, which was pretty horrible. Learn what you need to learn and just do. Like, do now and continue to learn. Like, you'll get better and better and better. I say this in a lot of my films. Just do. I'm putting out a film today about how to start a YouTube channel. Like, practically, just like how to start a YouTube channel fucking today. And hope you guys enjoyed that one too. I'm also sharing another one, The Impossible Day in the Life of a Creative Director. That's dropping today too. When you stop thinking that you're not good enough and you just do, you start to create value for your own self. And that is the truth. That is the utmost truth. When you're looking at other people's lives, when you're following them and looking at them and like, oh wow, they have it so good and so fancy, and I wish I could do that, and I wish I could do that, and wish I could do that. As soon as you just start doing for yourself, and I'm talking about doing on a daily basis, more specifically anything that just makes you happy, whether that's knitting or biking or whatever that is, you'll start to grow value in your own self and confidence in yourself. Confidence is one of the most important things that you will learn in life, and it took me a very long time to even be confident in myself. Like, some of these kids these days are confident at 14, like hella confident, and I see that and I appreciate that. Like, you've learned it early. There's a difference between being cocky and confident, but oh man, confidence. You gotta have confidence in yourself. You gotta know that you are worth it. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get going. We're actually passing the Zaxby's, and now it says Carolina Cinemas, but it was Hollywood 14 that I first worked at that I was talking about. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and peace out, listen to some music, and get home. Catch you guys on the next one.